Time to rally! Love Madison, Wisconsin's professional volleyball team, is on fire. Catch 2 chances to see pro volleyball action this week. Thursday, March 12th at 7 p.m. is spring break in Madison. Students get in for $10 with a student ID. Plus, another match on Sunday, March 15th at 2 p.m., perfect for a family-friendly afternoon. Y'all, this is top-level volleyball action. Get your tickets today to secure your seat and follow Love Madison on social media for updates.
Is there a science that explains God? What if the next great paradigm shift isn't about matter, but about spirit? A free lecture titled The Science of God and Its Power to Heal Us explores these questions. Speaker Nikki O'Hagan will travel from Ireland to Madison to share this talk on Thursday, March 19th at 6 p.m. at First Church of Christ Scientist on Seago Road. All are welcome. Visit ChristianScienceMadison.com for details.
This is CityCast Madison. I'm Bianca Martin, and here's what Madison's talking about. Today, we've got some Badgers to celebrate. WSUM, UW-Madison student radio station 91.7 FM was just named the best collegiate radio station in the nation, and that's a reason to jump around. With me now to talk about this recognition and what's behind their success are 2 current student leaders at the station, WSUM Program Director Paige Elizabeth Kearney. Hello.
Hello.
And WSUM Production Director Johnny Rader. Hey.
Hi, thanks for having us.
Oh my gosh, I am so thrilled. Thank you for taking the time to talk about this and come on the pod. It's just so exciting, and a huge congratulations to both of you in the station. And from what I understand, the Intercollegiate Broadcasting System, which has been around since 1940, named y'all the top college radio for 2026. Johnny, how exactly does a station get this recognition, and how and when did you all find out?
Well, first of all, we had to submit for the best station with over 10,000 students, and that's the one we were hoping for. We had to submit a 10-minute tape that highlighted every part of the station, every department, the talk department, the production aspect, sports, and music. Tried to allocate everything equally, went through about 3 drafts of that, submitted that on over, and then it was up to chance at that point. That's about like 33% of the actual work that goes into it, because they're going to listen in at a random time. So we have to be at the top of our game every hour of the day. So many hours of programming that goes into this, only 2 hours that go unfilled basically a day, like 2 to 4 o'clock in the morning. So they listened in, they heard us at a random time. We still don't know when they listened in. And we were honored with the award of Best Station to over 10,000 students. And then about 5 minutes later, they announced that they're doing the Abraham and Borst Award. I think it's their 2nd or 3rd year doing it. Our hats thrown in the ring if we win the 10,000 Students Award. It's between the community college, the under 10,000, the TV station, and then the high school station, and then, of course, us. So out of those 5, we won the best out of all of them, and we came home with that big plaque. So we were surprised to get that award, and everyone was happy when we came back.
Yeah, what was that moment like? Because you said that you were surprised. You weren't expecting the big win?
We were not expecting it at all. We were excited for the 10,000 award. But yeah, at the moment, we were hearing a ton of celebrations from the other awards because there's like 50 awards before that. And everyone else has a committee of like 15 people at that event. It was just me and our sports director there. So when they announced the award, I feel like everyone else was expecting a big roar of screams. But it was just our sports director, Vince, holding up that camera and me going like, yes, we got it. And I walk up and go grab it. So maybe it was a little anticlimactic for them, but it felt really good for us.
Yeah, and I understand you guys, as a station, we're just about to celebrate your 24th year running. Paige Elizabeth, where were you at, and how did you react to this news when it got over to you?
We were in the middle of 24-hour around-the-clock programming for our birthday celebration. It was our 24th birthday on the 22nd of February. So we did, like, each hour of these 24 hours represented 1 year that WSUM was on air. So 2 p.m. on Saturday was 2002 music. And we had talk hosts join in too, and they would talk about events that happened or things that came out during that year that was like their assigned slot. So I was doing a show with our station manager, and she was just like, "Oh yeah, didn't you see?" And I went, "No, I was not aware." And then I go and look at our Slack and our Instagram, and it's everywhere. I'm like, "Oh my gosh, that's insane." I had no clue that. I guess I didn't even realize it was happening on that day. So it was really surprising.
That as well. So you were busy doing the excellent work that was being recognized out in New York at this conference. You're like, wait, what? I had just planned all of this amazing stuff and I'm in the middle of it. That feels like such a boon and exciting moment. And I read that the nationwide contest had more than 3,000 entries. So it is a really big deal. And I just couldn't be more excited. My personal experience of WSUM in my adult world out here in Madison, I'm saying adult world, that I used to be at UW-Madison, and now I live a different life. But when I turn on 91.7, I know I'm going to hear really cool music and often things that I haven't heard before, artists that I want to know. So when turning the radio dial in Madison to 91.7, like I already know you guys are a local winner. So I'm not surprised, but I'm so happy that your work is being recognized. And I want to ask you both, why do you think WSUM was named this top station? And Johnny, why don't you start and we'll come to Paige Elizabeth.
Well, I think this goes more into what she does, but every hour, as I said before, is filled. So it's unique every single hour. Everyone's got their own interests. And I think we're unique in that our DJs are maybe a little bit awkward. So it's real, true human programming. About half of, maybe most of our DJs aren't going to go on and do this professionally. They're just doing this for fun. And I think our listeners can tell that this is for fun and the music they're playing is genuine and it's from the heart every single hour outside of 2 to 4 o'clock in the morning.
Love the honesty there and love an awkward person. Paige Elizabeth, as Johnny said, it's in your purview. Why do you think that you got this recognition?
I mean, he kind of covered all the bases. WSUM is a learning environment. So you have people from all different levels, all different backgrounds. Again, like a lot of our hosts aren't going to go on to do this for the rest of their lives, but they're so passionate about music or talk or sports or news. And you can really hear that passion come through when listening to these hosts during like their voice breaks and everything. You can hear how excited they are about the work that they're doing. And I just think that enthusiasm from our hosts really sets us apart from the rest. And yeah, some of us are a little awkward, but I think it's nice that we're not like pushing for a hyper commercialized sound. It's true college radio. Like it's a little more laid back while still being super professional and like setting everybody up for careers in broadcasting if they choose to go down that route.
I love it. A space for all. Johnny, how broad is the station's reach? Like rough listening numbers and region coverage?
Well, we cover all of Dane County, maybe a little bit outside of that locally. But now just recently, we won Best App at IBS, and that's a big part of it as well. That takes our reach nationwide. Our website is pretty darn good as well. With the 3 streams, we're bringing in tons and tons of listeners. Likes of which that student radio stations haven't seen. We're not just local anymore. We're going to go nationwide. We're a multimedia digital organization. So we've definitely taken it to the next level.
Ooh, that's so exciting. And I want to dig into the content. Paige Elizabeth, if you could give us a picture of what the programming is like. I know we've gotten into a bit, but if you could expand and talk about the kinds of shows and music that folks can hear on WSUM.
Yeah, so currently between our FM and our free flow, like online only streams, we have around 215 shows each week, which is insane. But there's so much interest.
Your brain must be so huge.
It was a lot of work, believe me. I spent my vacation creating this schedule, piecing everything together. But there's really something for everybody. Again, people are just doing this because they're passionate about what they're talking about or what what kind of music they're playing. So it feels really raw and like true to our culture that it's just it's a smorgasbord of everything you could think of. But yeah, between FM and free flow, over 215 shows, meaning even more hosts, because we have some shows that have 5 hosts some of our sports shows, they often have 2 or 3, 4 people each hour, which is amazing. And we just want to give people the opportunity to have a show. And as much as I would love for us to have 24/7 programming, we are students. So yeah, those overnight, those graveyard shifts, those hours usually aren't filled, but we're getting closer and closer each semester to having around the clock programming.
It'd be like, who are the night owls around here? Who wants to do the graveyard shift? That's incredible. Do you have any standout shows that you're like, okay, if you're going to tune in, of course, you love them all equally. I'll just say that on your behalf. But some standouts that you would shout out?
Yeah. There's a show called The Rewind. The host's name is Madison. She does a wonderful job. She looks back at like this day in music history. So you get history and you get great hits from throughout the years, throughout the decades. And I think it's really cool mixing music and history, giving people things that they usually don't hear on the radio. You usually just hear the song and you're done. But she really goes into the history of it, when it came out, the band, everything like that. So I really enjoy tuning into her show.
Johnny, do you have any favorites?
Yeah, my favorite show is the Haunted Horror Hour with Nick and his crew. They pick a horror movie every single week and they talk about it. But the best part of that show is that they bring the comedy to it every single episode. And I included it in our Station of the Year tape. And it's really good. I love listening to that show. It always makes me laugh.
Madison, meet your new secret weapon, TaskRabbit. TaskRabbit officially launched in our city last June, and Madisonians are already using TaskRabbit services to make their lives easier. And I know that's true because I have used TaskRabbit on numerous occasions, particularly for moving and setting up my place. From furniture assembly to painting, they've got a tasker for that. Simply download the app, describe your needed task, and browse profiles of skilled neighbors who can help you today. And you know what else is a huge plus? Their transparent pricing. You'll see the hourly rate upfront, which includes the tasker's rate and the service fee, so there are no surprises at checkout. And you can decide what works for you and what you're willing to pay. So what are you waiting for? Find your first tasker today at TaskRabbit.com or on the app.
Hi, I'm David Plotz. I'm the CEO of CityCast, a podcast network that includes this show you're listening to, and also 12 other CityCasts in 12 other cities. And each one knows their city as well as your local team knows yours. So isn't it time we connected them? Don't you want to know how they're tackling their bike lane problems and housing challenges and sidewalk dog poop crises? That's why I'm hosting a new podcast called Your City Could Be Better. Because it could be. Every week, I'll chat with a different host in our CityCast network about what their cities are doing right and wrong, the weird things they're trying, and the surprising successes, so that we can all learn how to make our cities a little bit better. Listen to Your City Could Be Better on YouTube or wherever you get your podcasts.
Just talking to you guys is bringing back all of these memories of like, I had a chance to get to know WSUM when I was at UW, and there were truly there was so much opportunity to do your own thing on the shows. Like you said, you have 215 and people are approaching it in totally different ways, and 5 hosts or 3 voices or 1 person. And having that much creativity in one space is incredible. And you mentioned this before, that a lot of folks are just having fun, but some are actually trying to go into broadcast and make that their career. And I'll say, when I was hanging out at WSUM, it was because one of my friends, Nicola Summer, shouting her out, had a later night music show and interviewed musicians as they came into town, into Madison, and would play. And sometimes she asked me to interview with her. So that was actually training ground for me. Obviously, I still do radio of sorts as podcasting, so a little different, but same things. How would you describe WSUM in terms of its capacity to be a training ground for folks?
We have one of the best facilities in the country when it comes to our equipment. We just got new boards in all 3 of our listening rooms, what we're using right now. Our production studio is top of the line. Whenever we bring someone in for a tour that is from the professional industry. They say that this place is better than what we have right now where we are. So we are offering the best facility possible to them. We have a newsroom. Our on-air studio is beautiful. It gives a view of University Avenue. You can see violets outside. It's amazing, and it really can make you fall in love with media when you look at it.
Yeah, I mean, and both of you are there. Like, if you can talk about your own journey, like, what are you learning? What's this training ground meaning to you?
Well, I haven't been at UW my entire college career. So I started off at the student radio over at UW Green Bay, Radio GBX. And when I was looking at transferring, WSUM was the one that I circled. I saw the pictures. As I tuned into their programming. I said, that's got to be the one that I try out and I go for. And it hasn't disappointed from the second that I got here. From starting my show, from doing training, from doing those off-air hours, writing news articles, stuff like that. It's really felt like I've been stacking up every single day here, and it's been really fulfilling to see the fruits of that labor.
Incredible. Paige Elizabeth, what does it mean to you to be working there? Like, are you there for fun? Are you thinking about this for a career? And I know that you're in the training ground because because dealing with 215 shows, I can only imagine you are coordinating like like another level.
It's a lot, but it is really rewarding. No, when I was a freshman, I was at the org fair and they were playing a song that I really liked. We always have like a live broadcast from the org fair. And so I went over and I was just like, wow, this is really interesting, but why would I ever need this? I was a pre-pharmacy major at the time. And I'm like, why would I ever do that? But then the next semester came around and I was just like, you know what? If I don't do it now, I'm never going to do it. And just last semester, I switched my major to comm arts because I've loved being at WSUM. I've loved working here. I just started a couple months ago, but even that little bit of time, just the community, the equipment is amazing. Getting to learn, it's such a hands-on learning environment, which is something that I was really looking for. And I apparently really needed to kind of figure out my journey in life. But yeah, I love the station so much. I love radio and just like communication arts as a whole, that my time here has made me completely rethink my life course.
Well, it sounds super organic, which I absolutely love. I remember somebody handing me freshman year a sticker from WSUM of a woman with a big afro and headphones on, and I thought, interesting. And later on, that it almost a very similar thing where I would look down and I said, oh, I'm doing everything related to comm arts, and ended up kind of making that one of my majors. So I'm so excited, and you guys are lighting my light right now. And I do want to ask, you've talked about how far the station has come. You just celebrated the 24th year. 25 years is coming up. That's always a big milestone. Is there anything unique about the station that the average Madisonian might not know? Any cool history or standout features?
Well, I guess we could start with the history. You got to go back to Dave Black. That's the guy that everyone would point to. All the alumni will say Dave Black is the person that built this great 3,000 square foot facility right here on University. It's beautiful, but it's here for a reason. The predecessor we had, WLHA, was running from the dorms, a very small signal that you could really only get from the dorms. And the second that it left the dorms, it wasn't FCC compliant. So they had to shut down in 95. And then you have to fight for a tower again, which is always a hassle because they got to be in the middle of nowhere, really. And it took like 6 years for them to get that tower. And Dave Black and Dr. Hoyt were all part of that. First voice on the air, I believe, was like Evan Cohen. So all of those people who were preaching to an audience of nobody at the time, maybe 5 to 10 people on the online stream at the time, they're the reason why we're here. They're the reason why we got to move from State Street to this location, why the university is so strongly invested in us. And you got to give it out to them for that one.
Any history, Paige Elizabeth, that you find exciting, or any things that other Madisonians, people who are not on the campus and maybe haven't tuned in, should know about WSUM?
I always love the story about residents where our tower is. They were kind of up in arms about, erecting this giant radio transmitter. They were calling it an eyesore and saying it was going to, disrupt the community and the neighborhood. But I'm really, really obviously very grateful and glad that we kept pushing for it, even after all of the kind of backlash, I suppose. Even here in our production studio, we have newspaper clippings from when all of that was going on, when it was kind of WSUM versus the city in a way. And as Johnny had said, it took many, many years to have a terrestrial signal, not just an online stream. So I think it just goes to show how much people really care about, college radio and broadcasting, and that it's worth the work.
And sometimes you can't always see the final product or have proof of concept, but somebody was like, this needs to be here and I believe in this. It's going to be in this dorm. And now you guys are the #1 station in collegiate radio in the US. Like, that is incredible. And it's just such a moment. And Johnny, you're talking about notable alums. Are there any other notable alums that you guys will shout out outside of also my friend Nicola?
I got to shout out Kelsey, our supervisor. She was here from 2010 to 2014, program director and traffic director. She loved it so much that she came back and she's doing a great job. So I got to shout out Kelsey.
Shout out Kelsey.
Yeah, I will say that we have a bunch of little bumpers with our legal ID and everything about alumni. So like Andy Katz, and there's a bunch of different ones. So if you tune in, you will hear some good history of our alumni and where they're at now.
Well, someone that Kelsey probably knows, I feel like there's some overlap here, is Justin Barney, who was a host and music director, I think around that time. And I know he then went to intern and made his way all the way up to music director at 88.9 Radio Milwaukee, which is a big music station. And now he's at Nashville Public Radio. So I know there's a lot of good stuff happening there. And before I let you go, let's dream together for a second. If y'all had unlimited funds at WSUM, and I know you're already ahead of the game when professional folks come in and are like, I don't have a mixer that nice. That said, unlimited funds, you can do anything. What changes or improvements would you make to the station, if any at all?
I'd say you got to go to the travel aspect. Like, we could go to unlimited music festivals. We can go to unlimited Badger sports games. We could go to unlimited bowl games, March Madness, unlimited funds for that, because those experiences are really priceless. Like, you get to go call a bowl game for WSUM sports. You get to go to a huge music festival down in Texas or New York City, stuff like that. Those experiences really are priceless. And that's the thing that you wish you have unlimited funds for.
South by Southwest. Come on. I would love to go myself. I love that festival. How about you, Paige, Elizabeth? What would you want to do or make happen at WSUM if you had unlimited resources?
Well, my first thought was adding another production studio. We have so many people interested in training, and, we can only fit so many people in there at a time. So I really think that would expand our roster of our amazing hosts. But also, I may be a little biased, but adding more music to our music library would be amazing. Just really stock it full of everything, expand it, get every sort of CD or vinyl that you can think of. And that would be so fun. And it would be an awesome resource for all of our hosts who play physical media on their shows.
Well, you guys work so hard and are being recognized. And now that folks are listening here, I think maybe you can get more funding because you're winning your proof of concept. And we just really appreciate you taking the time to come on the show and do what you love. Keep kicking butt. Thank you for taking the time, y'all.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
That's WSUM Program Director Paige Elizabeth Kearney and WSUM Production Director Johnny Rader. That's all for today here on CityCast Madison. I'm your host, Bianca Martin. Don't forget, you can support the show and get great perks by becoming a CityCast Madison neighbor at membership.citycast.fm. And if you enjoyed today's show, why not share this episode with someone who loves finding new music and celebrating local wins? All right, y'all, we'll be back tomorrow morning with more stories from around the city. Until then, take good care and thanks for listening.